All right, this is the homework that's due tomorrow for second and third period. Here is the demand schedule and the supply schedule. And I only wrote in hundreds on the supply. Probably should have done it on both. I should have done it in both. But anyway, the problem you're going to do tomorrow in class is much easier. I always make my essays in class fairly simple. But here is the way the graph should look. Here's the supply and demand lines. Okay. And then here are the questions. What is the equilibrium price and what is the equilibrium quantity? Well, coming back up here and reading this, the equilibrium price is $5. I put the dashed lines there. His equilibrium quantity is 600 shirts. Okay. So if the government thinks the shirts are too expensive and they should not be sold for more than $3, what is this action called? Well, if they actually, make it a law, that would be a price ceiling. Okay. So number 6, after the government action, and number 5, what will the quantity demanded be? Well, at that low price, a lot of people are going to want them. And so the quantity demanded will be 800 shirts. I drew a line on it after the, but it says here you don't have to do that. A line on the graph. After the government action, this is number 7. Number 5, what will the quantity supplied be? Well, because the price is so low, the businesses selling this shirt won't want to sell a lot of them. And so the quantity supplied will be 200. So number 8, what will it cause? It will cause a shortage. Now, if I'd ask you the amount, the difference between 200 and 800 is 600 shirts. And something I wanted to point out, let me see here. Where's the graph? Here's where I drew the line. Now, that's how I calculate it. But here's an easier way for you. Like if you want to know what the equilibrium quantity is, if you see here, you see a 5 and a 6. Here you see a 5 and a 6. So that means if you see those matching sets of numbers on both schedules, that is equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. And then they put in a price control of $3. Well, you see here, $3, people are going to want 8. And again, this should have said 100s, but it doesn't. Down here, you'll see at a price of 8, they'll supply 200. So one way to figure out how much the shortage would be, which is not a question I asked you, but if I had, it would be the difference between 200 and 800. So you don't actually have to graph it, but in most cases, they're going to ask you to graph this. All right, so what do we have left here? Question number 9. If the Darter football team wins the state championship again, we had won it several times back when I wrote this problem many years ago. Draw an approximation on the graph, like the group work we did, and label it accurately of what will happen to supply and or demand. So anyway, the theory is if all of a sudden we win another state championship, there's going to be a huge demand for those shirts. And so what would happen is the demand would increase, which is the shift to the right. Then the last question is, if the fabric the t-shirt company uses all of a sudden has a severe price drop, draw an approximation on the graph. Well, that the fabric the shirt's made out of is an input. So if there's a decrease in input prices, that is not a demand thing, that is a supply thing. And that would cause an increase in supply, which is a shift to the right. All right.